The position of Chief Justice, one of the most important in the state, is not one that usually attracts enormous controversy. But the Attorney-General's announcement this week that Chief Magistrate Tim Carmody QC will take up the role has sparked outrage in some corners of the legal profession. This afternoon, the President of the Bar Association quit his post, saying he had no faith in the integrity of the process. Former Solicitor-General Walter Sofronoff QC has been a high-profile critic, and he joins me now. Walter Sofronoff, what's your reaction to the President of the Bar Association, Peter Davis QC, resigning?
I've known Peter Davis for 35 years, since he was an article clerk. He's a very good friend of mine, and I'm very, very proud of him today. And I think in terms of the significance of his resignation today, it is yet another instance of a professional who has found that he has absolutely no faith in the integrity of the Attorney-General, is not prepared to expose himself to dealings with him. Davis is a man who has tried to deal with the Attorney-General in good faith, as is his duty, and finds it impossible. And
he says that in terms of that question of integrity, he says it was his private discussions being leaked that was the inspiration for him to resign.
Yes. Well,
why is that a concern?
In dealings between the President of the Bar Association or the President of the Law Society or any other leader of a stakeholder, it is essential that you can speak in confidence. And you can't do that with this man.
We were talking about this only a couple of months ago when the Attorney-General was accused of divulging...
Here we are again with exactly the same misbehaviour.
Is that why you quit?
I'm not going to talk about why I quit.
Peter Davis says there's little, if any, support for Tim Carmody's appointment within the legal profession and little or none within the ranks of sitting Supreme Court judges. Why are those within the Bar Association so opposed to Tim Carmody's appointment?
Judge Carmody is somebody who has, by his own actions, identified himself too closely with the government. Judge Carmody is a person who has none of the necessary qualities of a Chief Justice of a Supreme Court of a state of Australia. If we take, for example, the current Chief Justice of New South Wales, Chief Justice Bathurst. Chief Justice Bathurst was appointed from the bar. He had been the leader in many, many important, large and difficult cases at first instance. He appeared in the New South Wales Court of Appeal, where he was an acknowledged leader as an advocate, and in other courts of appeal. He appeared in the High Court. Chief Justice Kyriakis of South Australia was a former Solicitor-General who had a wide practice in public law, who appeared in the courts of his state and in the High Court. I could go on with each of the Chief Justices of each of the states. Chief Justice de Jersey.
But in response to that very point, Tim Carmody said on ABC Radio this morning he's dealt with the hardest cases, the difficult appeals.
Well, this isn't really about Judge Carmody, you know, but I'll answer your question. I've been in practice for 35 years at the private bar. I've got a general practice, so I have appeared in criminal cases, in commercial cases. I appeared in the family court from time to time, although I don't do that now. I have appeared in public law cases. I have appeared in tribunals. In that 35 years, Judge Carmody was in practice, I think, from the early 80s or thereabouts, mid-80s, something like that. I've appeared against him once.
Would you expect that to happen more often?
Justice Keane of the High Court, who has also been the Chief Justice of the Federal Court, who was also a Judge of the Court of Appeal of Queensland, was a man against whom I appeared almost always. If I was there, Keane would turn up. If Keane was there, I would turn up. I appeared against Justice Kiefel when she was on the bench. I appeared against Justice Philip McMurdo many times. I appeared against Justice Fraser many times. I appeared led by Justice Byrne and against him before he went to the bench. There is a level of practice where the leaders of the bar appear, and we appear against each other because the solicitors who brief us wish to have equal experience and authority on each side. I've never appeared against Judge Carmody except once. So I don't understand what experience he's referring to.
Well, Tim Carmody also adds to that. He says on radio this morning, "No one knows whether I'm up to it until I've done it." Is that fair?
We don't appoint the head of brain surgery at the Royal Brisbane Hospital on that footing, and we don't appoint judges on that footing, and we certainly don't appoint chief justices on that footing, at least until now.
Okay, so what should he do?
He shouldn't be Chief Justice. He should do the gracious thing and realise that all of this has been a horrible mistake and say that he wouldn't accept the appointment.
Do you think he's too close to the government? That's the other criticism.
He appears to be. He appears to be because of the things I tried to explain in the letter that I sent to the Courier Mail. And now, as a result of that extremely wide perception of him, he feels the need on the day that his appointment was announced to say that he is independent. When judges' appointments are announced, they don't announce that they are independent. This is assumed. They don't defend themselves. And now Judge Carmody, who complained on the ABC this morning that I didn't ring him privately to voice my concerns, and Tony Fitzgerald didn't ring him privately. Now he's campaigning on radio. He was on ABC radio this morning, and somebody said he was on 4BC, defending his position and like a politician, asserting his suitability for a post for which he wishes to occupy.
And you think that's improper?
It's undignified and it's unprecedented. I've never known anything like it in 35 years, and I've never read anything like it in the reading I've done about appointments in the United Kingdom or here. I've read about it in the US, of course, where they elect judges, but that's another story.
All right, Walt Sofronoff, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome, Matt.
And we asked the Attorney-General for an interview. He was unavailable, but this afternoon he put out a statement in response to Peter Davis's resignation letter, including the claims of leaking, saying that he didn't respond to rumour and innuendo.